Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the CLA Connection Center here in your fine city of Eagan. My name is Josh Jurgensen. I am the market leader for the Minneapolis office here at CLA. That's my, I'll say, public title. But by day, I'm an audit principal within our financial services practice, so I work with banks and credit unions and other organizations all around the country. So we are super excited to have you all here today. Isn't this space great? I think when we first were told a couple of years ago that, hey, we're opening a connection center, I think the initial reaction was, what's a connection center? But I think as we've grown to understand the space and utilize the space, for us, it's all about connection, which I think today is a great example of that. Bringing everybody together, allowing us to work together. It's really been a great space for us, and we're super excited to be here in Eagan. So I won't take up a lot of your time here today, but I wanted to make sure to welcome you guys here. We're super excited to have you guys. I know you've got a full agenda, but it's my pleasure to welcome John Althoff to the stage, President of the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce. And please give John a hand. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
Thank you, Josh. So, beautiful space, a lot of people here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's usually because the coffee's good, or there's good snacks, or just you care about your city. And I think in the case of Eagan, it's all of those things. So very glad to see each and every one of you here. Eagan is known as a worldwide, actually, as the home of the Minnesota Vikings, very close to where we are here on the campus. And they practice football here, for those of you who don't know. And Eagan practices something else. They practice economic development. And the city's record, I'm looking at Jill, pretty impressive, pretty impressive. Eagan keeps putting points on the board with a number of things: investment, development, bringing in the right employers, and workforce growth. This is a second-tier city, right? And second-tier cities are supposed to be quiet and fade into the background and turn it over to the third and fourth-tier cities. Nobody told the city of Eagan about that. So we're very happy to be here today. I'm John Althoff. For those of you who we haven't met yet, I'm President, Chief Mission Officer of your Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are the voice of business. 425 plus members. I say plus because we picked up 2 members this week, which is great, so we're growing. And we represent companies with 37,000 employees. So kind of a big regional chamber. And we're the connector within the communities we serve. Our job is, as connectors, is to bring people together so that ideas can be shared, so that partnerships can be forged, and the future can be made brighter. Your DCR calls Eagan our home, and there are many reasons for that, because we represent 9 cities and 3 townships, but we're in Eagan because it's a central location to our footprint. And Eagan has one of the strongest economic engines in Minnesota, and that's saying a lot because our county is the 3rd largest economic engine in the state. There's no question that Eagan has got it all going on. With world-class employees, world-class small businesses, world-class innovation, world-class talent. When organizations have a choice, they choose Eagan. And this is the audience participation part. So when I do this, you say Eagan. Can we do that this morning? I get the sense it's a little, we're dragging here a little bit. Come on, people, it's a small room. It's like we're just all together here. So when I point to you, you say Eagan. So the Vikings and Honda Electric, they could have moved anywhere in Minnesota. They chose Eagan. They did. CLA, a beautiful facility we have here. They could have expanded this facility anywhere in the region. They chose Eagan. They did. Solventum, opening up in April, could have gone anywhere in the world, and they chose Eagan. Right. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Thomson Reuters, they could have left. They could have gone anywhere. They stayed and they invested in Eagan. Yes, Ryan companies could have developed many other areas. They chose Eagan. Very good. Getting a little weaker now. Come on, getting a little weaker. But they chose Eagan to build basically a city within a city, which is phenomenal. And now Ecolab is planning to invest millions in Eagan and bring thousands to visit and to be trained here. And there are hundreds other examples. And where is here? Eagan. Right. This doesn't happen by accident. This kind of growth and people happy and business growing. It's proof of the strong leadership. That strong leadership matters. Leadership plus business plus community, all pulling in the same direction equals magic. Okay, who's connected to Eagan? I'm going to do a show of hands here and keep your hand up. How many people live in Eagan? Raise your hand. Wow, a lot of people. Keep your hands up. Okay, now how many people work in Eagan? Okay, keep those hands up. How many people play or serve the city of Eagan? Okay. We build this city together. We're second by second, minute by minute, every hour of every day. And at the top of the leadership, the Big Ben, if you will, of this great city is a man that makes this town tick. It's my utmost pleasure to introduce the mayor of Eagan, your mayor, our mayor, Mike Maguire.
Thanks, John. Thank you. Well, it's always great to have John here to be kind of the warm-up act. And I could probably just pull about half my script and just throw it away right now. So thanks for the introduction, John. I appreciate it. Good morning. Welcome to the 2026 Eagan State of the City. I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for the many ways in which all of you show up for our community throughout the year. I want to begin today by thanking our host, Josh, and Clifton Larson Allen for this beautiful space they provided, really a state-of-the-art facility. And I'm really excited that you're all able to join us here today in the Connection Center. I also want to thank John Altoff and the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce for their continued support and partnership with Eagan and on today's event as well. I appreciate the work, John. My sincere appreciation as well to all of our sponsors for today's event. Ecolab, who just announced a $500 million investment in Eagan. Enjoy Eagan. The Minnesota Energy Resources, Thomson Reuters, and the soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Minnesota Vikings. Thank you all for the continued investment in our community's success that you make. We're joined here today as well by my city council colleagues, council members Mike Sapina, Cindy Fields, and Gary Hansen. We're also joined by our city administrator, Diane Miller, and unfortunately, Councilmember Paul Bakken was unable to attend this year. This is the core leadership team that sets the tone for our city, and it's an honor for me to work with them. I get to speak today, but each of them individually deserves recognition and credit for their commitment and their service to our community. Thank you. Also for their dedication, care for the community, and the work they do every day to help make Eagan a successful city and an even stronger community. A round of applause, please, for our City of Eagan staff that are here today as well as remotely. I also want to thank my wife, Janelle, and our son, Ian, for their unwavering encouragement and support throughout my years of public service, and for their patience when city business often follows me home. I feel like this community has watched our son, Ian, grow up. And he couldn't join us today for the first time in a number of years. because he's away at school at UMD. And Janelle and I couldn't be prouder of him in spite of the cheesy mustache. Ian, you're my boy, Blue. And thank you, of course, to all of you for being here today and to those of us joining us separately. I want to thank you for your engagement, your ideas, and your belief in Eagan. It truly matters, and it makes a difference. Over the past 3 months, we've witnessed more clearly than ever that an engaged community is essential to our shared success and the strength of our city. The commitment neighbors have shown to one another has been truly inspiring. That spirit of connection and care is at the heart of my remarks today. Last year at this event, we talked about growth. The tree of Eagan, firmly rooted, steadily strengthening, and continuing to reach upward and outward. And while that progress is real, we also know, especially in challenging times, growth brings hard choices, trade-offs, and lessons that we didn't always anticipate. This year, we're taking a slightly different approach. We're turning the microphone outward, towards you, our residents, our business owners, our community partners, and our neighbors. Because Eagan's story isn't told by just one voice. It's told by hundreds and thousands of ordinary people just doing their thing. It's told through the experiences of families who call Eagan home, entrepreneurs who invest their dreams here, volunteers who give their time, and residents who strengthen our community in ways big and small. Together, these voices shape who we are, even when, especially when, we don't all agree on what to say or do. These voices help light the path and guide Eagan forward. Today's State of the City is a celebration of those voices and that shared sense of community that makes Eagan not just a place to live, work, play, and do business, but a place where we thrive together. Eagan is growing, and we're doing so intentionally. Not every challenge is visible, not every decision is simple, and not every outcome is immediate. Our economic development is thoughtful and rooted in the needs and the values of our community. Taking into consideration community voices and the Planning Commission's thoughtful review and recommendations, we on the City Council carefully weigh impacts, consider long-term outcomes, and work to ensure that Eagan's growth reflects what residents have told us they need and they value. That community input is paired with the work of our city's professional staff, planners, engineers, community development professionals, and subject matter experts who are among the best in their fields, helping to translate that vision into smart, responsible decisions for Eagan's future. One example of that thoughtful approach is the City Council's recent decision to adopt a temporary moratorium on new data center applications. Data centers raise important questions about neighborhood noise, energy use, and water consumption. Rather than rushing forward, the council chose to pause, to study, to gather information, and to ensure that when and if these projects move forward in Eagan, they do so under policies that protect our community's long-term interests. 2 years ago, Eagan was sitting on more than 2 million square feet of vacant office space. And in 2025, between housing and commercial development, we added $620 million in new valuation. Clear evidence of the investment, momentum, and belief in what Eagan continues building. New housing, commercial investment, and redevelopment projects are moving forward in ways that modernize older sites, expand our tax base, help fund our priorities, attract new employers, and expand housing options. All of this while protecting the character that makes Eagan a special place. The former Blue Cross Blue Shield call center is nearing its completion and its transformation into the 3M healthcare spinoff, Solventum, bringing innovation and opportunity to our community. Hunt Electric is investing $11.5 million into renovations of the Spectrum office building, supporting 500 office employees, a strong example of reinvestment in our existing commercial spaces. At Vikings Lakes, the Omni Hotel and Conference Center continues to grow, adding a new outdoor pool, spa, and amenities area scheduled to open this next year, further strengthening Eagan's position in the metro area as a destination for businesses, sports, and hospitality. As an aside, a special shout out today to Enjoy Eagan for their help showcasing all that our community has to offer. And as well to Brent Corey, who last month marked 20 years building Eagan's brand as a destination. Where are you, Corey? There you go. That Vikings line was for you. And here where we sit today at CLA's Connection Center, a $10 million investment in Eagan, where hundreds of team members will come together for training, team building, and client events. CLA brings a steady flow of visitors to Eagan, helping to support our local businesses. Each of these projects brings jobs, visitors, and new energy to Eagan. But growth is only truly successful when the people powering our economy of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds can find a place to call home in Eagan. Over the last 5 years, Eagan has added 1,400 new homes and 400 affordable homes to our community, an important step towards meeting the needs of residents today and planning for our future. On Ron Road, Veterans Village is taking shape right now, bringing 22 supportive housing units for veterans experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. It reflects not only growth, but our shared commitment to caring for those who have served us. Together with one of our strongest partners in this work, the Dakota County CDA, we celebrated the opening of Nichols Point in the Cedar Grove area, a veterans priority space. Thank you, Tony, for that work. And while we work to create new housing, we're also committed to helping residents stay in the homes and neighborhoods they already love. Through partnerships with the CDA, we've offered home improvement loans and radon mitigation grants and used local affordable housing aid to defer assessments for low and moderate income homeowners in the Widgeon Woods area. All of this activity reflects a strong vote of confidence in Eagan's future. So let's hear from some of these homeowners and get an update on the Northwest Central Commons plan.
The Delta Data site used to be the Northwest Airlines site. It's a functionally obsolete office building. It was vacant for a couple of years, no economic activity occurring there. Community development and the mayor and the community got together and said, you know, what could this site be? And so they put together a really remarkable vision. The Dakota County CDA has the capacity to activate that community vision. We're going to turn it around. We're going to create more economic activity that fills the buckets of public purpose in our community. It helps us build parks, helps us build roads, and then we're going to hit some public purpose by providing housing for people who can't afford to rent in the market. And so we'll have some of our senior housing in there, maybe some of our family townhomes if the community wants that. The beauty of this and our role is we're more patient than any private developer because we're a community asset. We have a way to develop this site in conversation with our community and make sure that we're doing the right thing.
My wife and I moved here just a couple years ago. At that point, they had just determined that there was quite a bit of damage due to deferred maintenance. We became aware of the home improvement area program as we were looking around for financing to address the problems. The city staff was very helpful and went even beyond expectations. The city proactively suggested that we use a funding source available through the city for those residents that are income eligible to help mitigate some of the initial costs. I was really impressed with the proactiveness. It came through and it helped some of our neighbors. So, thank you.
Nichols Point is 24 units of affordable housing for seniors with a veteran's preference. The CDA had picked up a little piece of property over by the transit hub, which is 2 stops from the VA. It's small, so we can't build the typical 60, 80 unit senior housing development, but because we're a public agency that tries to help people who need housing, it fit for us.
I have been here since it opened. This is a great place. It's a small community with great amenities. This is my living room, which faces out onto Nichols Road. And so I can see the world, right? The world is here. We have beautiful apartments. We have transportation options. If I need to go to the VA, there's a bus in the morning that goes directly to the VA. Go anywhere I want and I don't have to drive. You can't ask for better.
It is such a joy to work with the city of Eagan. It's just one of those wonderful opportunities. Everybody gets together and sees how we all work together positively and want to be part of it.
Great evidence of the partnership we have with Dakota County, as well as our Dakota County CDA. Thank you so much for that work. As we look towards the future, one of the most important ways that we shape Eagan's growth is through thoughtful economic development and planning. Not every project moves as quickly as we'd like, but what matters is that we stay responsive, data-driven, and open to refining our approach as we go, so that we continue to meet our community's needs. This year, we're kicking off Eagan's 2050 Comprehensive Plan, a long-range framework that will guide how we plan for housing, jobs, redevelopment, infrastructure, and investment across our city. What that means is that many of the staff who are working on this project today will be enjoying a well-earned retirement by the time it's fully realized 25 years from now. This plan will help to answer key questions about how Eagan grows and evolves in the next 25 years. Where should new housing and businesses be located? How do we support strong, stable, and diverse economies and quality jobs? How do we thoughtfully redevelop aging sites while protecting both tax base and neighborhood character? Over the coming months, there'll be many opportunities for the community to engage and to help guide this work. Your input will influence economic development and community investment well into Eagan's future. By planning intentionally and collaboratively, we can continue to build an Eagan that is economically strong, thoughtfully developed, resilient, and prepared for the opportunities ahead. All of this work, growth and connection, is possible because Eagan continues to stand on a strong financial footing. Our continued AAA bond rating, the highest a city can receive, reflects careful stewardship and long-term vision. But it's built on everyday decisions, choices about priorities, timing, and trade-offs. each one made with the understanding that public dollars must work for Eagan residents and help them to thrive. That stability allows us to deliver essential services today while making long-term investments for tomorrow as we navigate competing priorities, rising costs, and changing community needs. We're not just balancing budgets. We're making true investments in infrastructure, facilities, and public spaces with a commitment to transparency, to listening when residents raise questions, and making thoughtful adjustments along the way. When we manage our resources wisely, we can keep investing in the things that keep Eagan and its indelible character together. Places where creativity and connection can flourish. We see that in the Eagan Art House, where creativity brings together people across all generations in our community. We see it as well in the refresh of the Eagan Community Center and this winter at Goat Hill. These investments are about more than just shiny new buildings. They are about creating spaces where community happens today and into the future for years to come. One of the most powerful ways that we build strong community isn't through buildings or plans alone. It's through conversation. Not talking about one another, but, as an imam recently told us, with one another. We've recently been reminded of just how important this is. Over the last several months, many families in Eagan have experienced heightened anxiety, uncertainty, and fear due to increased federal immigration enforcement activities in our area. This has been a difficult and stressful period for many of our neighbors. And I want to be clear. Eagan's immigrant community is a valued part of who we are. There are business owners, our students, our workforce, our faith leaders, our neighbors, and our friends. And everyone who lives, works, and raises a family in Eagan deserves to feel safe, supported, and able to thrive. This is why Eagan has been doubling down on outreach, showing up, listening, building trust, and partnering directly with immigrant communities and organizations. This work reflects the belief that Eagan thrives when we all thrive. That journey began several years ago when we made race equity and inclusion a priority in our organizational values. And we haven't turned from that commitment. We recognize something important. To serve our entire community, we must understand the experiences of our residents, acknowledge where inequities exist, work to reduce barriers, and commit to building a future where every person feels welcomed, valued, seen, and supported. That belief led to the creation of community conversations. We wanted to create intentional spaces where residents could come together across the community, across generations, backgrounds, and perspectives, to talk openly about belonging in Eagan, to share stories, surface new ideas, authentically identify barriers, and imagine together what thriving looks like. To ensure these conversations were inclusive, respectful, and meaningful, the city partnered with skilled facilitators, experienced in guiding sometimes challenging and yet constructive, important dialogues. Eagan is fortunate to have schools, faith communities, nonprofits, businesses, and neighborhood groups that have been leading on race equity and inclusion for years. Our goal has never been to step ahead of that work, but instead to join with it, to listen, to learn, and to bring the city's role and resources to the table. Together with our facilitators, we hosted vision workshops, student conferences, small group discussions, and a large spring summit attended by more than 100 Eagan residents and community members. To understand the impact of these community conversations, ETV captured the voices of residents and facilitators who participated.
My name is Paula Forbes. I am the founder of the Finding Human Institute.
And I'm Robin Francis. I'm a senior consultant with the Finding Human Institute. Each space that we stepped into, people wanted to connect with each other. I mean, these were questions in every space that we were in. How do I connect more? What more can I do?
What I was hoping is exactly what came out, and that is that people really would come and have authentic, honest conversations.
I went to my first meeting and I was just like blown away, like, oh wow, this is really nice because we're talking about the city that I live in and what more we can do to make it better.
I've had multiple people come up to me at places and be like, oh, how are you? Like, I saw you at the cafe. It's so nice to see you again. It's just like really interesting to like make conversation with people that you wouldn't do on your like day-to-day life, which I think people need to do more often.
There were about 2 to 3 dozen of us. It's a senior cooperative, so we're all seniors. What I liked especially was how well the hosts facilitated the process.
I was so pleasantly surprised with how the community responded to us and how willing folks were to engage in the process without knowing much about it. I will say that they were just willing to step in, and there was this immediate trust that happened that I didn't expect.
I was surprised and impressed that they were taking this initiative at the city level as an official stance to have these conversations and be more inclusive. So I was pleased that I live in such a city taking this kind of initiative.
We all talked about the fact that we were pleased and delighted that Eagan is doing this. The fact that Eagan is asking for our ideas was very good.
It's important, I think, to sit down and look at where you are right now and where you anticipate going in the future. And I think the city of Eagan is doing very well.
It's very clear that it has to be the willingness of the city officials, for lack of a better word, to want to do this. And they have to be open to what they might hear. You need a willingness for people to really, truly want to do the work and want to get real answers.
And to stand in resistance when it isn't necessarily a priority in other places. And some people are stepping away from the work when, to me, the city of Eagan stepped into it and stood on their word.
So many people in that video are in this room today, and I want to thank you all for participating in those community conversations. Equity and inclusion are not one-time efforts. They're ongoing commitments, and our work is not a finish line, but instead an important milestone along the way. Through our conversations, we did hear clear priorities from our residents. A desire to invest in gathering spaces, to expand cultural programming, to improve access to information, and to create new leadership pathways for the next generation. One of the most meaningful outcomes of this initiative has not been a policy or a report. It's been relationships. We've seen a Eagan group of women who are meeting monthly to share stories and build relationships across generations. We've seen new members of our community attend city events for the first time and interact with council members and staff. And having worked with the council, I know how scary that can be. And just recently, several city staff had the privilege of sitting together at a Baha'i celebration and at an iftar dinner, breaking bread, sharing conversation, and deepening understanding. These are the kinds of connections that don't always make headlines, but they matter deeply. They are heartfelt, cross-cultural relationships built on trust and mutual respect. And they're happening because we chose to talk with one another, to listen, and to show up. The city is committed to carrying these insights forward, working alongside residents and community partners to celebrate our diversity, reduce inequities, and strengthen connections across the city of Eagan and our community. Together, we are stronger. And together, we can create meaningful and lasting change. When residents engage at a meeting, on commissions, at events, in workshops, or online, they help us to see our city through new perspectives, including perspectives that challenge us and push us to do better. Not every conversation is okay, or is easy, and along the way, it's okay to disagree. At times, residents have made it clear that we haven't always gotten everything right. That feedback matters as well. Every new idea, every honest critique strengthens Eagan's future. And yes, sometimes that idea starts with, I'm not sure if this will work. But it often ends up and leads to better outcomes, even if it takes a few tries to get there. In Eagan, engagement doesn't just happen in meeting rooms, it happens wherever people come together. We see it at Lakefest, where residents come together not just for fun, but for connection, reminding us all that sometimes our best conversations happen lakeside, in between casts, and far from a conference table. We see it in our parks as we plan for the next decade of parks and recreation, with priorities shaped by residents around equity, accessibility, and ensuring that every resident lives within a 10-minute walk of a park. We see it at the Eagan Community Center, where reinvestment is focused on modern amenities and long-term use, including a new fitness center, improved accessibility, renovated indoor play spaces, and welcoming gathering areas designed with community needs in mind. And we see it in our work towards a more sustainable future. Last April, the City Council adopted Eagan's first ever climate action plan. This milestone was shaped by over 1,200 Eagan residents, staff, and community partners. This community-driven roadmap sets goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 55% by 2035 and to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Residents can continue to engage through opportunities like the Sustainable Eagan Academy, where community members of all ages and backgrounds learn, ask questions, and take part in shaping solutions together. We also see engagement through our Business Blitz outreach, where city sustainability staff connect directly with local businesses, listening, learning, and building relationships to support our climate action plans. To see how these efforts come together, I'd like to share a short video that highlights how Eagan is engaging the community in some of our initiatives this past year.
People really, really like and appreciate the park system here in Eagan. We want to make sure that the investments that the city makes over the next decade keep that same level of service for the community.
The Parks Master Plan is a planning document that will help guide Eagan's park system over the next 10 years.
We've tried to have a number of different opportunities for the community to provide input throughout this process, ranging from online surveys and some different mapping tools that people could provide specific input to pop-up events.
We attended Market Fest Big Rig Rally and Juneteenth. We were able to talk to people of all ages and backgrounds and figure out what they like about the parks that we want to continue to offer and what they think is missing and that they would like to see.
The people who are providing that input are the same ones that are going to be using the parks for the next 10 years and beyond. We're making sure that the parks continue to serve the community.
The city got a grant to do a safety action plan. My name came up as a person who maybe should be on the steering committee for the Safer Streets for All Safety Action Plan. The city's goal is to have 0 fatalities and 0 severe injury crashes by 2045. The city can use that input to figure out solutions that give people what they're asking for. The city used crash data to create heat maps where crashes have happened. The city will look at what kind of measures they can take to reduce crashes in those intersections. So my hope is that as Eagan works on the Safer Streets for All initiative, that they will look for ways to make things safer for people who roll, people who walk, and people who ride a bike.
The Sustainable Eagan Academy is this program that residents of Eagan can join, and then they can learn about a bunch of different sustainable topics.
Hopefully they come away with some ideas of what they can do in their lifestyle to improve the environment, so to speak, and also pass that on to others.
I love learning about nature, the environment, all those things, but to have the opportunity to give back and to be the one that is sharing the information, I think is exceedingly unique. I think it's really cool that I get to take what I know and share it to people.
The impact thus far, I think, is making people aware of different aspects of the environment: water, electrification, your lawn, grass, native plantings. We try to do what we can and what is practical and what is within our scope.
When you see the work that goes into doing all these things, the research and the time and effort that people have put into making our city more sustainable, I think it gives you a new point of view, which is really important.
As an individual, you can sit there and be dismayed and say, my impact will not make any big difference. But if you get enough people who decide that they want to make an impact, then we'll change the world.
Across all of these efforts, from public works to sustainability, parks to public spaces, one thing is clear: engagement matters. And look for Maddie to be up here 10 years from now. When residents are involved, decisions are stronger, outcomes are better, and the future that we build reflects the people who call Eagan home. Some of the most powerful voices we hear are those that rise in moments of crisis.
This was the scene around 4 o'clock Monday afternoon off Springwood Path in Eagan after a 3-year-old boy was hit and pinned under a parked car that rolled backwards.
Luke was under the car and he was unconscious. We learned afterwards that he also wasn't breathing. The firefighter team was close, got there as fast as they did. They assessed the situation and took action very fast to get Luke out of there and get him breathing again.
Our dispatch to en route time was 30 seconds.
We were able to see Luke underneath the car after about 10 seconds of lift, not even, maybe 5. Felt like forever.
If all of those things hadn't have happened in that order, we wouldn't have Luke anymore. So how important was the speed? It was absolutely everything in this case.
Every week we have our weekly training, which is departmental training, to keep our certifications current and that we're always making sure we're being prepared. Having staff here living 24/7 really is the deciding factor, because someone's always here ready to go.
We're an all hazards department. If there's a water rescue call, if you dial 911 and you have a medical emergency, somebody needs help changing the smoke detector battery, we are on our way.
Luke sees the people now and they're his firefighters or his police officers, and that's really fun for him. He always asks who was there and who his firefighters are and wants to come visit them.
And they see us and they know who we are, and I've been just really impressed how much they all truly care.
I was assigned a case to look into some allegations of inappropriate relationship that a teacher was having with a student.
I always think back to the first time I ever shared my story. I was afraid of not being believed, of being told what happened to me really didn't matter that much, or that it was my fault. When I told Chad the story for the first time, he took it really seriously.
I told Hannah, from the very beginning that I'll be in this with her as long as she wants me to be. This is about Hannah, not about me or the Eagan Police Department.
I really see the investigation as almost an investment made in me. Being able to trust Chad and kind of find my way through that process created an environment for me to feel more comfortable sharing my story again, and is really what led to the opportunity to work towards these legislative changes.
It was great working with Hannah, seeing her courage and her ability to affect change. It was really impressive. Just nice to be able to try to help her any way the police department could help her, and then just being a support for her.
These stories reflect Eagan's commitment to safety and to listening, to the priorities of its residents, and showing that when the community and city work comes together, lives are changed for the better. I want to take a moment today and recognize Hannah Lepesto and Detective Clausen and congratulate them. On Tuesday, the anti-grooming legislation that Hannah has been working on so hard passed through by committee at the legislature on a bipartisan vote. That's what changing lives, and that's what engaging does. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Detective Clausen, for your work. Congratulations. At this time, I want to take a moment as well to welcome our new police chief, Salim Amari. We are grateful for Salim's leadership. Salim, your commitment to this community and the concept of community is important to all of us. And the experience that you bring to Eagan is invaluable. We are glad that you're here. Please stand and help me recognize Chief Omari and give him a warm welcome to Eagan. He truly hates when we do that. You've heard me say it before, and we've seen it firsthand. Our public safety teams, both police and fire, work tirelessly to keep us safe. But just as importantly, they work every day to build trust and relationships within our community. That work has never been more important, especially in moments like Operation Metro Surge, when immigration enforcement activities created uncertainty and real threats to community trust. We recognize that the presence of federal agents in our region can still leave lasting impacts. And when the trust is damaged, rebuilding it takes time, consistency, and continued community-centered engagement. Our Eagan Police Department understands that public safety is strongest when it's grounded in community connection. That's why officers continue to find creative ways to engage our residents. From coffee with a cop, to shop with a cop, to connect four with a cop, and even cops and bobbers. Kind of makes you wonder what they'll come up with next. Maybe cookies with a cop, crocheting with a cop, or, fresh off the Olympics, maybe curling with a cop at Goat Hill. Andrew, I think I'm going to let you take that one. But jokes aside, these programs truly matter. They create opportunities for conversation, understanding, and trust, often before an emergency ever occurs. The same courage and compassion is evident in our Eagan Fire Department. Our firefighters take great pride in opening their doors to thousands of residents every year, teaching fire safety, answering questions, and building relationships long before they're ever needed in an emergency. Those connections matter. They build trust, trust that allows firefighters to serve residents during some of their most difficult times. That trust, combined with expertise and ongoing training, has helped the department respond effectively to more than 7,200 calls in 2025, a new record for fire responses. Our full-time staffing model, including firefighters responding to medical calls, has created a better balance across our public safety operations and ensures that help arrives quickly when it's needed most, cutting response times nearly in half, from over 10 minutes to just 6 since 2017. And while we welcome one chief, we must bid goodbye to another. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Chief Hugo Searle, who will be concluding his service as Eagan Fire Chief on April 3rd. Since joining our city in August of 2021, Chief Searle has helped strengthen our full-time fire department model, improve emergency response times, and build a culture rooted in kindness and service. Let's hear from the chief in his own words about his time in Eagan.
I'd like to say thank you to the city for putting their trust in me to lead this department. Being a firefighter was my dream when I was a little kid. And then somebody said to me, you know, I think that you'd make a good firefighter. And I thought to myself, that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. So that's when I switched my careers and became a firefighter. Eagan has a full-time, career-only, professional fire department that responds to over 7,000 calls. Put that in perspective, just 6 years ago, it was 1,800 calls. For me, that achievement, the level of service that we give the community, I love that. Whenever we get a 911 call and the tones go off, we go there, and our job is to try and stop it from getting any worse and make it better if we can. And so those opportunities to make a profound difference in people's lives, it's all about those moments. I'm really going to miss the people I work with, not just on the fire department, but on the city and the residents that I've got to know and meet. But our firefighters here are very special to me. It's going to be a very active retirement. My daughter has just moved to Spain, so I promised her I'll spend a lot of time over in Spain and visiting my family back in the UK. Most of all, I'm going to do some sailing. I have a sailboat, and my plan is to sail some of the oceans of this world. Everywhere I go in Eagan, I meet residents, maybe it's at a block party or an event, and they're so happy to talk to the fire chief, and I've always enjoyed that. So they should know that they have one of the best fire departments in the state, and so they should be very happy about that. And to the department and to the firefighters, this is farewell, but I will be checking in from time to time and seeing how they're doing and following their careers.
He enjoys it as much as Salim does. On behalf of the City Council and all of Eagan, Chief Searle, thank you for your outstanding service, and we wish you the very best in your next chapter Enjoy your retirement, and hopefully you can fit us in somewhere in between all the travels. To all of our police officers, firefighters, and public safety staff, thank you. Your quick thinking, compassion, collaboration saves lives, strengthens trust, and gives people hope in their most vulnerable moments. Will all of our public safety personnel in the room please stand so that we can show our appreciation for their work? In the back, too. As I close today, I want to remind us that Eagan isn't defined by one story or one speaker. It's defined by all of us, by the voices that come together in dialogue and debate, all of that with a shared love for this city. Together, we are writing Eagan's story, one voice and one decision at a time. We define the state of the city of Eagan. And the state of the city of our city is strong. Thank you for being part of that. Thank you for being here today, and have a great day. Thanks so much.